She comes from California, so she's got a lot of guys. Well, that's where she was born, yeah, right beneath the whole sunshine. I'm a lonely man, but she don't understand. No, she just wants me wanting her again.
First time I recorded, I was 8 years old, because my dad used to get Musicians magazine, and I was looking through it one day. I had been writing songs for about a year. I started when I was about 7 on the piano, writing songs. And I noticed a songwriting contest in Musician Friend, or Musician magazine, one of those. And it said, you know, submit your cassette here, and Slash was one of the judges, and there are other people that I heard of, you know. I was like, Dad, I really want to enter this contest, so we should record some of my songs. So we borrowed my dentist's 4-track recorder. He was the only guy in town that had a little Tascam recorder.
What was this, what town?
Greenville, Texas.
Okay, yeah.
And so we set it up by the piano and got 2 mics, and I recorded 3 of my songs. And so that was the first time I recorded.
Just you and the keyboard?
Just me and the piano. Yeah. And I would do a lot of cassette recording as a kid, you know, with 2 boom boxes, overdub, back and forth. And then when I got really serious, I was about 13 or 14, and I put together a band. And I looked in the yellow pages for studios. There was nothing in town. I called the local guitar store, and they recommended a guy up in Dallas. So I picked up the phone and called this guy in Dallas and said, hey, my name's Ben Kweller. I have a band called Radish, and we really want to record some of our songs. And so he told me the rate and all that, how much it would cost. So we saved up some money, and we drove to Dallas one weekend. So that was the first time I was in a studio. I was about 13.
Were you playing out then, so you could
sell
them?
We were playing out. There was one place in Greenville to play called Chauncey's Place. It was a pool hall. And same thing with the studio. I would call places in the yellow pages to try to get a gig. And so I'd call bowling alleys and putt-putt golf courses, and they say, no, we don't have music here. And I finally found this pool hall. And so Chauncey, I was like, you know, I really want to, I'm 13 years old, but I have this band, I really want to play. And I said, you know, let me just play you some songs over the phone, you know. I was hungry. And, you know, I played him some songs. He's like, all right, you can come down next Thursday and play a gig. So that was our first gig.
I want to kill this man, but he turned around and ran. I'll kill him with karate that I learned in Japan. He wouldn't see my face, I wouldn't leave a trace. I wouldn't use a bullet, 'cause a bullet's a disgrace. Oh, Mom, I never thought that I was a murdering man, but tonight I'm on my way. Tonight I'm on my way. And there's this
when you were 7, writing your first song, what got you to do that? Were you listening to songs?
It was
your
the
dad
Beatles.
Obviously is into.
It was really the Beatles. You know, well, the first song I learned was Heart and Soul. Dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da. And I saw the pattern.
So you must have taken piano from somebody.
Well, no, this was before I started taking lessons. My dad taught me drums when I was 6 or 7, so I learned a beat, and he would play guitar, and I'd play drums every day. He'd come home from work, and we'd play Beatles songs, Hendrix, The Doors, a lot of British Invasion stuff, the Hollies. And so we did that for about a year in my childhood. And then someone I don't even remember who, but someone taught me how to play Heart and Soul, like most American kids learn. And I saw the pattern of it, C, A minor, F, G. I didn't know that's what the notes were, but I just saw the pattern and how it skipped a note each time. And I said, well, what if you skip the second note and go to the third note, and then back to the second note, and then the last note? And then it sounded like Let It Be, you know? And I was like, wow, so Let It Be is Heart and Soul, inside out. So then I said, you know, I'm about 8 here at this point, and I said to myself, I was like, well, screw that. Like, let's skip the second and third note. Let's just go straight to the fourth note and then back. And then it sounded like a song that I never heard before. Later, come to find out that that's as well a very popular chord progression. But so I wrote my first song with lyrics, melody, and the Beatles were really my inspiration. I remember around that same time I'd listened to Magical Mystery Tour on my dad's turntable, and All You Need Is Love came on, and it was the most beautiful thing I ever heard, that melody, and it just made me start crying. And I would put the needle back and listen to it again, and I must have been 8 or 9, and I said to myself, I said, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to make other people cry or touch them the way that this music's touching me. I don't know what they're singing about, I don't know what's happening here, but something heavy's going on, and this is what I want to do. So that's when I really got serious.
It's pretty big thoughts for 8, 9 years old. Is your dad still around?
Oh yeah.
Has he followed you closely?
Very much so, yeah.
I'm sure he has.
My parents are big fans and huge supporters, and there's no doubt that I wouldn't be where I am today without their support, because Radish went on to get a record deal off of that CD that we made, that first CD. A producer heard it and recorded a 3-song demo, and he shopped it around. And this is in the mid-90s when that was a very popular thing. You know, you record a 3-song demo, give it to a lawyer, they shop it to record companies, and we got a record deal with Mercury Records when I was 15. So now I was contractually obligated to go on tour, which I'm thinking this is like the best thing that could ever happen to me. You know, I get to go on tour alone without parental supervision. So they found a really great guy, this roadie that we knew, a family friend, was a tour manager, guitar tech, and we hopped in a van, me and my 2 buddies, and this guy, his name was Twos, great dude. And we went on tour, toured all over the country in clubs, did Lollapalooza. Then we did a lot of touring over in Europe, because Radish actually had a top 40 hit over in the UK called Little Pink Stars. And I was on the cover of Kerrang! Magazine, which is this big metal magazine over there. And it was crazy times.
So you had some success at 15, and it hasn't ruined your life yet.
Yeah, exactly. It just enhanced my life, you know.
Means your head's straighter than a lot of other people who have had the same experience and didn't come out of it as well as you have.
Yeah, I feel really lucky that I've been able to remain level-headed, you know, and but going back to my parents, you know, they really, to let your 15-year-old kid go on tour for a few months, and I mean, I dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
And
so you haven't finished high school?
Well, I went back and took my GED, the good enough diploma, when I was 17. But you know, now when I'm at my shows and I meet 15-year-old kids, they just seem so young, and I just can't believe that my parents. Yeah, I guess so. And
so now you're a family man.
I am.
You can let your son go when he's 15 and hit the road.
Oh God, you know, I gotta cross those bridges when we get there. But I will say that, you know, we let him follow his path when it comes to creative endeavors, and he's already a solid little drummer. It's pretty amazing. I can jam out with my 3-year-old.
Hey.
And his favorite band is Guns N' Roses, and he loves Welcome to the Jungle. He loves Joan Jett. I love rock and roll.
You could start co-writing in about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, sure.
If he's like his old man.
Totally.
Thanks a lot, Ben. This has been great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Well, I'm like my grandma, short, but I stand tall, playing every single card that's dealt to me. You know, some days are aces and some days are faces. Well, some days are 2s and 3s. And you gotta fight, 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 fight all the way. You gotta fight, fight, fight all the way. You gotta set your sight on the Lord in your life. Gotta fight till your dying day. Alright. You gotta fight, 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 fight all the way. Gotta fight, fight, fight all the way. Woo-hoo. You gotta set your sight on the Lord in your life. Gotta fight till your dying day. You gotta fight till your dying day. You gotta fight till your dying day. All right. See y'all soon. Thank you.